Trenton down at the rec field. As you can see, there's the rec field. Because it's kind of a quiet spot, as long as no freight trains come, because the freight train tracks are literally right there. Yeah, you can see them in the video. They're right through here. But the point is that I could not get the stream to flow at the house. The internet connection there is just too bad for a live stream. So I'm going to do one from here. I've got it kind of rigged up with the truck here. As you can see, there's a black line right here. This is the bed cover. And what I've done is I've got it propped up with one of Teresa's yoga mats so that I don't have a way of muffling the wind noise. So I've got it inside the truck bed, just barely inside. And that gives me a way of like blocking the wind so that I don't get wind noise on the mic, hopefully. So you guys will have to let me know if there's wind noise. But yeah, I was going to talk to you today about a couple of lenses I saw, and I had this whole thing built in OBS. I had this huge elaborate operation set up with a external microphone and a light, and I found how to like tap a OBS program to a web page. Hello Hassan, I'm glad you came back. This is the only way I can get the stream to work. I also went and got some coffee at Wendy's. But yeah, it was just so much trouble. I did all that prep work and messed around with it and got the software working, and then the internet connection this morning was just pathetic. But see, we're on ADSL where I live, and ADSL shares bandwidth with other companies, or I mean other users on our cable. They haven't got the fiber optic RAN yet. It's in the works. They've came out and talked to us about it 2 or 3 times, but there is still no fiber optic internet. Once we get that, then I'll be able to stream from the house like I want to. And I'll probably set up in my photography room, set a camera up in there. Then I can do screen sharing and all that jazz, and I'll set me up a real live streaming station. But for now, it's using the smartphone. So how are you doing today, Hassan? It says somebody else is here with us. But I was going to talk about my bird rig that I'm going to Costa Rica in a couple of weeks to kind of get away from the cold, and me and Teresa love it down there, so we've decided that's our new vacation getaway place. But I'm gonna take the Z50, the FTZ, and the 500 millimeter phase Fresnel. I'm not even bothering with other equipment this time. Sister 19, LOL, online. Nice. The username is literally written in Russian. I'm pretty sure that was Russian. Well, what do y'all call that script? Acrylic? Is that the right language? But yeah. But yeah, I was going to talk about that camera a little bit and why I really like it for a travel photography rig for wildlife use and things like that. Nice. The ZFC is becoming Phil's favorite secondary camera. If he's not shooting sports or wildlife, he's pretty much always got that ZFC with him. That's what it's turning into. He likes his Canon, was it R5, R6? R6, I think he has. He has the lower megapixel one that does better in low light. He's got that for his like sports and wildlife stuff. But yeah, if he's just shooting like general photography, landscape, street, he loves his ZFC. And that was something else I was going to talk about. He sent me a link yesterday, and TT Artisans has come out with a 20 millimeter f1.2, I think. It's basically a 35 millimeter field of view on a crop sensor, and I even had my TT Artisan 50 mil for a physical reference. I had all that stuff on the table. Oh, I had this huge thing set up. Anyway, but yeah, I have my street bag with me. This is what I'll be streeting with today. This behemoth. Let me get this thing balanced again. I have the Leica R8 film camera. It currently has Ilford HP5 in it with a 50mm lens. This is the lens I bought to replace the one I jacked up last year in Costa Rica on our trip. But yeah, this is actually a really nice film camera. It's all electric, so it won't take photos without a battery. This front section here comes off and the battery's in behind it. You actually put the battery in this cover and then snap it onto the camera. Yeah, you can kind of see on the bottom, if I can get the sun to hit it. See that line right through there? That's where the front corner of this whole section of the grip just unsnaps from the camera, so you can change the battery. It's kind of neat the way it works. But I run it, here lately I've been using it in aperture priority, because it's got manual, aperture priority, program mode, timer mode, and then flash mode. And I'd have to read up about the flash, but yeah. Oh, dude. It's designed by Germans. It fits the hand perfectly. If you flip that out so you can advance the frame, it literally just lays in your hand. That bizarre shape is literally perfectly gripped. And yeah, this swell right here, it just lays in your palm, and the camera just feels good. And then they beveled it on this side so you can get up here, because this camera was made in like 1997, I think. 97 or somewhere around that period. In a period of time when cameras were autofocus and auto aperture control, this one is still a manual aperture currently. You still have to run the aperture ring and focus it manually. And this was like their flagship like pro camera. It's just funny. But you have, on top you have the shutter speed dial, the shutter release button, frame advance, and then your mode choice. And then if you want like ISO control, like you can actually manually key in ISO behind this little cover in the back. And then it has the timer modes, 2 seconds or 12 seconds. That's what them two buttons do. And you have exposure compensation here. You push this lever in, and you can move it up and down, and it'll actually drive in some exposure compensation. And then you have aperture on there, but it doesn't, I don't know how you change shutter speed. Well, you don't have shutter priority. It's not even a choice. Okay. It's automatically generated by the camera. No, this is shutter speed. Shutter speed, aperture. I have just lost it. ISO is set by the film. You have all controls. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't wander down a big old rabbit hole with that. But yeah, I like it. It fits my hand well, so. I don't like the strap so much. It's vintage, and it was real stiff when I got it. It's loosened up a lot since then, but I've been kind of reluctant to change the strap because it's got this really cool like rubber deal on it. Plus there's a bumper on the camera, as you can see there, to keep the strap from landing on it. So I've just been using it. Hoping it'll soften up with time. It's like nylon, woven nylon. But it's a cool little camera. And then if I want to take digital photos, I got this behemoth. This is my other one. And it's got the 50mm as well, but this is the Summicron SL, and then it's the SL2. And I've got a new leather strap for it made by a company called Tether, and it's really nice. And I bought the Peak Design anchor deals to attach it to the camera with, so I can QD it, you know, like you normally can with the Peak Design. But you can buy this piece and just put your strap on it, which was kind of nice. The lens on the R8 is, back out, is, I'm gonna set this bag down. I'm standing at the back of the truck. I'll give y'all a view in a minute. This is the 50mm Summicron R. It's the lens made for this camera. I scuffed it, I see. There's a series of scratches on the focus ring, but it's working perfectly. I didn't bang it. It looks like I just slid it across something. But yeah, what I like about this later Summicron R is it has the built-in lens hood. So you don't have to try and carry a separate one like on the SL lens. But it's also real compact. But yeah, it's a 50mm f2 is what it is. I've gotten on this 50mm bandwagon. Go Boston Celtics. Is that their logo? Because I didn't know that. There's a this this hat is a logo for I don't know if y'all know who Tony Robbins is. That's his company logo. Yeah. Yeah, Hassan says he's not a real big fan of Peak Design products because they're overpriced. Example. This is the bag I'm using. It's the Everyday Messenger by Peak Design. I've had this bag 6 or 7 years. I've had it a long time. And it's starting to show its age in places. Like I hung one of the rivets on something and pulled it off in an airport. I was doing something in the airport and caught one of these rivets and just snatched it out of the bag. But like, you can start to see there's starting to be wear on the buckle point here. Like the rubber coating on the buckle strap is starting to wear. I mean, I've had this bag a long time, but it's still in good shape. I mean, all in all. But I paid like, back then, it was like $250 for this Everyday Messenger bag. And I bought it based on the hype of the quality, and it has delivered. I mean, I got to give them credit. I did lose. As you'll notice, there's a split ring on one of the zipper pulls here. The other one still has the little tag thing. This fell off of this zipper pull, so I just got a split ring for a key ring put on it. The zipper pull still works fine, but yeah, as you can see, I got the SL2 down in there, and then the R8 fits in this cavity. A lot of times over here on the third pocket, I'll have the CL with the 35 F14 on it. It'll carry all three of them comfortably. But yeah, he's right. Their stuff is high because you know they're not making it in the U.S. I'm pretty sure they're making it somewhere exported. You know, they're bringing it in so they can get manufacturing costs down. There we go. I lost my Eric Farmer. How you doing? Michael's Senescal. Is that saying that right? Senescal. That's the way I'm trying to say it right. But he's saying the R8 is becoming more popular. And guaranteed the value is only going up, and the R lenses as well. The R lenses I agree with. My R8 is busted. It works perfectly, but right here, if I can get the light to hit it where you can see. You see them little, I can't get the light on it. Crud. Just trust me that right here, there's supposed to be another lever. And the lever is broken off, and it's for double exposures. I mean, if you don't shoot double exposures, it don't matter. It's broken in the normal exposure position, so it doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, you flip it over to cover the rewind clutch button deal, and it allows you to do double exposures. But that's the only thing wrong with it. I don't know how they broke that off without damaging the rest of the camera, but yeah, that lever's missing. But I got a good deal in it because of that. Because I ain't gonna do double exposures on my film camera. It's just not gonna be me. So it didn't matter to me. But yeah. Eric says, I'll visit the postman Monday. Been a crazy week. I bet it has. So the Clover logo is the Boston Celtics. Okay, that's good to know. Awesome. But yeah, I got my what was it? I had something else I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, the 23 millimeter lens from TT Artisans. It's like $100 for that lens. Excuse me. And I think it's because it's 1.2 aperture, which means the glass has to be a little bigger to accommodate for that. I hear a helicopter, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. It's Life Force up there. Y'all can probably hear it. But let me check something. Okay. But that whole Doppler effect with the helicopter is messing with my head. Because until the helicopter passes by you, you get the rotor thump. Then once it gets by you, the rotor thump is apparently projected forward. You don't hear it anymore. It's kind of weird. Just something to think about. But at that 23 millimeter, a lot of people like to shoot 35 on their full frame cameras. So that'll be a good lens for a lot of people. Jason says, I love the idea of shooting wide, but I just don't use them as much as I think. I don't know what that was about. I was trying to cough. Yeah, I mean, I take spells, if that makes sense. For real, freight train. I don't know if y'all heard him. He's coming through town. He's blowing on the north end. I'll give y'all a close-up and personal of the freight train here in a minute. It's going to be freakishly loud. I'm literally 30 feet from the railroad track right now. So, yeah, this one right here. And that track. He's coming. Oh, I see his lights. Let's take a momentary reprieve and go right over here and watch the freight train. I'm going to pull you guys out of the truck. Oop, oop, there we go. See, I'm set up at the back of the truck. This is the luxury of live streaming with your phone and location. Yeah, there he comes. He's right there. This is probably like super dangerous. He's doing a good 40 miles an hour through town, maybe more. There we go. All right. Don't know how long the train will last, but it'll last a minute. This is the main north-south rail between Chattanooga and Birmingham. So, I don't know if y'all can even hear me with all that noise. Finally a smooth stream, yay. I know, really. And it was just the freight train. Look, there it is. It'll be over in a second. That's the way it goes. Get decent internet. It just wants to be on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Dadgummit. Normally they're over by now. I see the end now. It's almost done. Yeah, they are. I seen all that. Look like gas pipeline pipe. Yeah. There it goes. Woo! And immediately it gets quiet. Isn't that something? Just as soon as that car goes by, it gets suddenly a lot quieter. All right. Move my camera bag where I don't step on it. There we go. Good. All right, I need to address a bunch of questions that kept popping up in chat while the train was rattling my teeth. See here. Jason said, I love the idea of shooting wide, but I just don't use it as much as I think I do. Yeah, and that's me. I use it more for landscape and then some like special purpose street photography. Like if I'm shooting low angle stuff, shooting up, I like to shoot 24 millimeter. I've learned that works really well for me because it allows me to get down close to the ground and not have to worry too much about like composition. I can actually adjust composition at the computer. Like if I don't get it perfectly positioned like I want, it gives me breathing room. And I like it for landscape a lot. But yeah, just to shoot normally, most of the time I like 50 mil. That's my preferred focal length. But I'm a lot like that. Here, Hassan says, so far sticking to the native Z lenses for my ZFC, but I'd like to try some of those Viltrox APS-C lenses. I like the 40 to 45 focal range. I saw that one just came out, and it looked really interesting. I shot with a 43 millimeter Nikkor, and the field of view is pretty nice. That's it. It really is. I kind of liked it, but it was a pancake lens, and for me, it was so compact that the focus ring was just that thick, so it was kind of not really conducive for me to use it. Sinbad Sailor says, hey, can you recommend a good vintage macro lens? Yeah, get the 105 millimeter f4 micro Nikkor. Get one from like a pre-AI or an AI or even an AIS. Get the manual focus one because you're going to manual focus your macro shots anyway, and just go with that. I got the 200 millimeter micro Nikkor, and it takes phenomenally good photos, but honestly the 105 does 80 or 90% of what the 200's capable of, and for a tenth of the money. So if you want to get into macro and not spend a fortune, that 105 f4 from back in the 70s is a beautiful lens. Just get one that's clean and carry on. I've got a what is it? I don't remember if it's the Olympus or if it's the Pentax. I got a 100 millimeter made by somebody. It's an M42 mount lens, and it's a beautiful lens too. It's at home sitting on the shelf. I don't remember who makes that one right now. Right off, I don't remember. I wish I could because it's a really nice lens, but it's one of the big names. Let me look. But yeah, those lenses, the M42 lenses all work really good too. Eric asked that 43 millimeter Nikkor. I think it is. I believe it was an AI or an AIS lens. It's manual, and I had it on the XT3. The videos on my channel, I used it at a summertime trip to Gatlinburg, and just mounted it on the camera and didn't even take anything else with me when we went out. So so all the photos from that event happened with that lens, and it's a nice lens, but it's kind of unique. Let me back up here. Man, there's some comments coming in now. And he finally got his live stream that's smooth. The train making all the noise. Just Hassan says, I like shooting wide mostly if I know I am cropping later, which is why I am waiting for the small 30 to 45 megapixel full frame from Lumix. I would love to have a full frame ZFC around 30 to 40 megapixels. I think a 24 megapixel full frame ZFC would be a winner. Just a 24, because then you could shoot in the dark with it. Put the sensor out of the Z6 II in it. I think you'd have a winner right there. Besides, I love the sound of trains. Tim C said, somebody's going to be laying a lot of pipe. Yeah, there was a bunch of pipeline pipe on that train. Ulrich says, nice to see you live. Nice to be live and it working. Michael says, we have trains in Massachusetts, but nothing like that. It just keeps on going and going. Yeah, that thing up. And they'll change, okay, they have to change crews every so many hours. And they do it right up here in Tiftonia. So they'll park that train And it'll be, the head of the train where the engine is will be in Tiftonia, in Tennessee. And the train is so long that it'll cross the state line into Georgia and go 2 miles easy into Georgia, blocking side roads where they've had to park that train to let them change crews. Yeah, I mean, easily you'll drive a couple of miles by the train. It's a lot of train cars. Especially if they're bringing dead cars back to, empty cars back to reuse. Because they have a huge yard up here in Chattanooga where it's a big hub. Tell, how from the UK. Nice to have a stream today. Thank you, Tell. Thank you for coming in. Man. Hassan says, I would love for Sigma to get on Z. I had a bad experience with a Sigma lens. A brand new, I bought the 150 to 500. It wasn't even the new 150 to 600. And I took it to Hawaii because I bought it to photograph surfers at Waimea Bay. You can get up on a cliff face on, I guess it would be the south side of Waimea. If you're standing on the beach of Waimea Bay, it's a little inlet, okay, and there's a river comes into the ocean there. If you're standing on the beach, it would be on the left side. There's a big cliff face that runs around the road, and you can get out on the other side of the handrail and stand on the rocks there, and you can photograph down into the bay and get the surfers riding those big waves. And the first year I went, I didn't have a super telephoto, and I realized, man, I super needed one to get some good photos of the surfers. All the pro surfers come there. It's one of the premier places on earth to go, like Tahiti, and they got all their favorite spots around the globe, and Waimea, the North Shore of Hawaii, is one of them. And they always have a bunch of competitions. So I thought I'd get me some good, cool surf photos. Well, I bought the Sigma. I think it was a 150 to 500 at the time, and all the pictures come out. They weren't like out of focus, but they weren't sharp. It was like, it was muddy, I guess would be the word. So I come back home with it. And if you took pictures of anything out to maybe 100 yards, they'd be sharp. It looked great. But past that, it just couldn't hold the resolution. And I was shooting it on my D810. So I sold it and bought the Nikkor 2 to 500 Super Zoom. And it was like playing a different game. It literally was like a different game. I took it the next year to Hawaii, and the photos come out laser sharp on the same camera body. So, yeah, I just didn't have a lot of faith in Sigma glass after that. I guess I judged them on a single piece. Maybe that's poor decision making on my part. Maybe I should give them another shot, because they make a bunch of Leica glass. They're in the L-Mount Alliance, but I don't buy their stuff, and lots of people brag on it. They talk about how great it is, so maybe I should give them a shot. MPB has the 105 2.8D macro for around $200. D is a newer lens. I'd go even older than that, because like I said, you're going to manual focus it. You don't autofocus with macro anyway, so I saved the money. I bought one of my 105 f4s off eBay for like $95. It's the one that in the videos I had to modify to fit my D810. I put it in the milling machine and modded it. But excuse me. Comment popped up and I was reading. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that's the only thing you got to really worry about, unless you're shooting it on an adapter, because then the adapter kind of bypasses any mechanical features on the lens, and it'll interact properly with the camera. So if you're putting an old F-mount lens on a Z camera, it doesn't matter anyway. But what I found was that pre-AI lens, the aperture, there's a feeler on the camera. It's a little lever that rides around the focus knob, and it wouldn't clear the lens. The lens wasn't designed for that device. So I actually milled a little notch on the lens to engage that, so it would detect what the aperture was set at. And that made it not bind on the camera as well. Didn't give me errors after that. But, you know, if you get the AI or newer, I believe the AI has the proper features, then you'll be okay. But that D-mount is a really nice lens. And at $200 ain't super bad. The 45 Nikkor is rare and a bit expensive. Is it really? I have one. I think I still have mine. I don't think I sold it. I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I got it, and it was in one of them plastic boxes that's clear. Looks like a display case you would have in a camera shop. It come in one of them. Super small. Yeah, it's only about that thick. It's not very thick at all. Greetings from Indonesia. Wow. Sure, it'd have to be in the middle of the night there. Yeah, sure. It's 11 here. It's got to be 11 o'clock at night in Indonesia, or midnight. Thank you for showing up. No Victoria says, David, have you used your 500mm f8 recently? I bought it recently, but I only used it one time when taking a photo of the moon. Ever since, it just sits on my shelf. Yeah, I think he's talking about my mirror lens. I have the 500mm f8 fixed aperture mirror lens, and I haven't shot with it lately because I bought that 500mm f5.6 phase Fresnel, and ever since I bought it being autofocus on my Z50, I've used it, and I have, honestly, mine has sat on my shelf too for the last good bit. I love the old lens, but I just haven't used it. But yeah, I still have it. It's 1 a.m. here in Japan, so it should be past midnight. Wow, man, you guys are awesome. Wow, $180 to $300 on eBay. That's incredible. That lens is tiny too. He's talking about the 45mm Nikkor. It's a little pancake lens. It's kind of surprising that they go for that much. Hassan says he's seen them as high as $450. Wow, that's impressive. I'd have never guessed that. I made the video for the 50mm f1.7 Yashica lens that I got with that bag of stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I'll give y'all a little spoiler. That lens is a winner. See, is there a real bad wind noise? I'm getting wind on the back of the camera now. I don't know if it's blowing on the microphone or not, but y'all let me know if the wind noise is getting bad, and I'll reposition if I can. But let's see. Audio is great. Okay. Ulrich, it's 5 p.m. here in Denmark. Man, so we've represented Indonesia, Japan, Denmark, the UK, I think someone said. Didn't somebody say they were in the UK? And sometimes we have somebody from Australia jump in. And we got Alabama. Some are over $500. Man, I'm already cash out on that lens right now. So sounds like they're up. I don't shoot with it. Like I said, the focus ring is so narrow that that's the reason I don't really use M lenses much, is because the focus ring is typically that little thumb tab deal. I've looked at a couple of those M lenses, but 1,615 hours here in the UK. Yeah, Tell's in the UK. All right. Let's see. That's 5 hours ahead, yeah. Yeah, we're UTC -5. That makes sense. Hassan said, guys can't really rep unless Alabama is in the house. I'm still in Georgia. Alabama is literally about 2 miles that way. I am almost in the great state of Alabama. I'm right up in the corner of Georgia. And I'm pretty sure the mountain I see right up there is Tennessee. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that's Etna Mountain in Tennessee. It's not far. Not far at all. Let's see. The depth of field is so thin. Oh, yeah, on macro lenses, yeah. That's the reason I like a legit macro lens instead of modifying a standard lens, because they let you stop down so much smaller. I don't remember what the furthest my 200 millimeter stop down to is, but it's like f45 or something. Yeah. You wind up stopping them all the way down and then just adding a ton of light back to it to get, you know, even a reasonable depth of field. That's the beauty. That's why everybody talks about that 200 millimeter micro Nikkor is the lens of choice for stamp collectors, because they set it up and level it over the postage stamp, and then they can take a perfectly resolution photo of a postage stamp that completely fills the frame. And, you know, you can look in and see the fibers of the paper at that point, but it's almost like having a microscope. And I bought that lens with all these glorious ideas. I have the 200 millimeter micro Nikkor, and I have used it a half a dozen times. I've used it to shoot portraits once. It's a beautiful portrait lens. I shot portraits with it once of my nephew, and then I've used it for some product photography. And not even doing detail shots, just doing like floating, you know, what they call it, white background photos, where you have the seamless paper and you hit it with light too, so that it looks like it's floating in the air. I just done just to use it so I could at least use it. Eric says, mountains, what are those? I'm in Oklahoma. All right, let's see if I can get you out again. Whoop, there we go. All right, this hillside right through here is Lookout Mountain. Yeah, there you go. There's the iconic Cloudland Canyon State Park logo or portion. Over here, if we spin around, this mountain right through here is Sand Mountain. I live on that mountain. It's a lot shorter than Lookout. And then I don't think y'all can see it, but let's see. It's right in over here. It's right in there. You can tell that you can see it back in there. That's, I believe that's Etna Mountain in the background. But all of our mountains are what I call flat top mountains. Going back in to get out of the wind. There we go. But they're flat on the top out here, and they're plateaus more than they're mountains. So what you wind up with is there's a lot of farmland on Sand Mountain. That's the one you see in the background there. It's got a lot of farmland on it. It's just like an elevated plateau above the valley here. And I think Sand Mountain is about 600 or 700 feet tall, to where Lookout is like 1,200 feet tall. You know, I don't even know what Raccoon Mountain is, but yeah, our mountains are short compared to like the Rockies, you know, where you add a zero. Yeah, they joke about our hills when they come from the Rocky Mountains out here. Excuse me. I still got some coffee. Look, coffee brought to David by Wendy's. Not a channel sponsor. My review, let me see if I can do this like a classic YouTuber. My review of this coffee is not influenced by them giving me the coffee. Full disclosure, I paid for this with my own money. Oh. Hey, it's Phil. How you doing, Phil? I'm doing my disclosure about my review of Wendy's coffee. Full disclosure, I purchased this with my own money. They did not influence me by donating coffee for free or asking me to do a review. Sometimes, you know, the disclaimers in some videos are just laughable. They're, you know, all you got to say is, I bought this so I can review it how I want. That's it. You don't have to say anything else. Some people worry about getting gigged on something somehow. I think it's because of the paid advertisement clause. Phil says my coffee was free because I'm at work. I had to come to Trenton to stream. I tried streaming from the house 3 different times, and the stream wouldn't hold itself up. So here I am, back at the ball field at Trenton with the freight train that went by earlier. Hassan says, LOL, Phil, the best coffee, because he didn't have to buy it. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I was going to bring up these cool graphics to talk about how VR is actually becoming a real thing. I'm not a big VR guy. I've messed with it a little bit, but you know, I'm 53, or will be in July. I'm 52 right now, and it's like once you get to a certain point in life, to embrace new technology, you're not just super interested in doing it for whatever reason. You know, I'll use it, like right now I'm playing with this smartphone and doing a live stream, but VR, it just don't super interest me. Not as much as I would have thought it would. I played with it once or twice, and you know, it's cool. You know, the whole kind of 3D entry deal is kind of fun, but I just don't see the draw that makes it so enthralling, or whatever the word is. But people are starting to build equipment surrounding that ethos or ecosystem. And Canon came out with a 3D lens, and I was going to talk about it on the stream some, but they've got a 3D lens now that's got 2 lenses mounted so that when you take pictures, you take them in legit 3D. And I really believe that the intention of that lens, not what it's being used for right now, but the intention ultimately will be to film in 3D with a Canon R camera so that you can view it in 3D on a VR headset. I believe that's where that's going, so that people that want to watch YouTube videos, for instance, in VR will be able to do that. I really think that's what I think they're laying the groundwork for that now. And at some point, you'll have entire YouTube channels that will be dedicated to that kind of videography. And they'll be, you know, right now they just have the one. Yeah, somebody just put it up. It's 2 8.5 millimeter fisheye lenses in one housing. And I really think that's where it's going. That the old dinosaurs like me who film with a standard lens and do 2D video will become the exception and not the rule. Yeah, Phil even says, I have no interest at this time. Yeah, but the younger generation does have interest. And that's where it's going. That's why the whole metaverse thing is working. It's really bizarre, but it is. People are buying real estate in the metaverse. They're actually paying money for it. For basically a location on somebody's server. They're doing it. You know, it's unusual, but it's true. They are. And it's not cheap real estate. Carmen, how you doing? If you guys haven't subscribed to Carmen's channel, look up Carmen Taverna, I think is how he pronounces it. If you go to his channel, he's a New Yorker, so he actually has the right inflections in his name so that you can hear it spoken correctly. But he's got a bunch of videos he's done, and they're really good. I really like his videos. So if you haven't gone over to his channel yet, go over and give it a look. He's awesome. I really like it. The nice clouds. Yeah, we got some really cool clouds today for some reason. I believe they're going up to where you are too, Phil. Tells that I hope Phil and Heather are finally dried out after the last video where it rained. Ulrich asked earlier. I'm sorry, Ulrich. I didn't see the note. It slipped by me. I scroll back through the comments to make sure I don't miss them, and I just found yours. He says, I'm browsing Google Earth now. What is the name of the place you are at right now? Just curious. All right. This is Trenton, Georgia, and I'm at the corner of Railroad Street and Price Street. Railroad Street is right here. Let's see. That street sign, I think that's the street sign. Let me look. I'm trying to get the, no, it's on. Yeah, there's the street sign. That street sign says Railroad Street and Price Street on it. Price is running this way, the one that's running away, and Railroad is running out across. So if you get and then of course the railroad tracks are literally right there. There's a big gravel lot, and then I'm right by this rec house on the back ball field here, and this is called Jenkins Park. So those are a bunch of landmarks if you want to look it up on Google Earth. And I'm right in the corner of this. This is technically probably railroad property, and I'm probably technically trespassing being here, but no one cares. The cops have done went by once. No one cares. I mean, I'm just standing here live streaming. So, but there's people coming down the street. Look, they found it. There you go. That's where I'm at. Hassan says, just saying, I see some Battlestar Galactica stuff going on with Meta and VR. The machines will awaken. Yeah, no kidding. Target acquired. Y'all ain't got control of some of them tungsten telephone poles in space, do you? If you want to hear about something really worrisome, Google search the rods of God. It's a weapon. I don't know if they ever built the actual weapons. No, I'm sure nobody really knows except some people in the Pentagon and maybe the president. But they figured out that if you lift a tungsten rod about the size of a telephone pole into orbit, you can literally just send it to the ground, and by the time it gets here, it's superheated to the point, tungsten won't melt real easy, so it's superheated to the point that when it impacts, it explodes like a low-grade nuclear weapon. And all it is a hunk of tungsten, and they just send it down to the Earth from space. So that's a legit development doohickey. Yeah, it's kind of scary. And they may be up there. I don't know. I don't know who told me about it, but it was at some point. Kinetic weapons, yeah. Found you too. Man, everybody's looked it up. But yeah, I just don't. I'm not super interested in doing VR right now. I don't know. I like watching my YouTube videos and stuff like that. But hit like, folks. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there's kids at the playground. I see them now. There wasn't anybody here when I got here this morning. And they've cleaned off the hillside. See that building right there is the back of the Ingles grocery store. And it used to be that was a big growed up lot back there, and they've completely cleared it off. I even has Google Street View. That's funny. Google is awesome. It really is. What they give us, for free is pretty cool. But yeah, that was one of the things that I was going to talk about. Was I saw that and I thought that's where that's going. They're starting to develop camera equipment for the average person, the YouTuber or whatever, to start doing developmental build stuff for the metaverse. And it's like the whole NFT things. I ain't gonna say anything super bad other than I'm not spending my money on an NFT. I've done enough research that I'm not comfortable putting my personal money in it. If you ask me my opinion, I think they're technically a scam. But, I mean, it's to each his own. they're not right for everybody. But the whole deal with the NFTs and the metaverse is, I don't associate the metaverse as with that. I think at some point there'll be a lot of business happen in the metaverse because it's easy, common meeting ground. Even like with how Zuckerberg did his video conference with all the people, and they were like pretending to be floating or whatever. All that's, yeah, it's silly, but it allowed them to meet in a uniform location. And if you didn't make it silly and you actually had a legit like engineering meeting in VR, and someone had 3D modeled the object that they're going to talk about, I mean, you could put it into that space and everybody could see it and interact with it. I mean, I can see the usefulness of this. I'm just not ready to jump in with both feet. But some people are. And, those early adopters typically are the ones that get rewarded. So, it's not bad. But they've tried to attach the non-fungible tokens to it. It's kind of weird how they're doing that. But, yeah, I'm not interested in a non-fungible token. Have to buy camera gear. Careful, some of these guys may be drone operators for the government. Hope you've paid all your taxes. Oh, don't worry, Hassan. If I haven't paid my taxes, if I haven't paid my taxes, they won't nuke me because there's still money to extract from me. But yeah, for the interim, I wonder what that's about. For the interim, I'm going to continue to do what I do. That's just weird. Some guy in a truck blowing his horn, hollering out the window. The book is called Ready Player One. Yeah, that's their guidebook they're using to build it with. Good point. Take money, then nuke. Oh Lord. One thing I forgot this time, guys, was the power pack. And it gave me my 20% energy warning just now. So Keith asked, what are your thoughts about Olympus? I'll be honest with you, I don't have any Olympus gear other than a couple of vintage lenses, but Olympus makes fine equipment. I've seen beautiful photography taken with Olympus cameras. There's several people that are real big Olympus users that are on YouTube. I can't remember their names right off, as sad as that is. One of them is a guy in Malaysia, Robin. I can't remember his last name. Y'all will probably remember it. I won't say his name's Robin something, but he's an Olympus ambassador. There's a guy in England, not England, in I think Finland, Solanto blog or Solanto something. It looks like Sultan O is in his name of his channel. Robin Wong, yeah, he's one, and the Solanto guy, I believe, is an Olympus shooter. I don't think I'll invest in it though. Yeah, it's just equipment, but supposedly they have the best image stabilization in the industry. I want to say that it's Olympus that's the best, but it's micro four thirds, so all the equipment is tiny. Now it's like the Panasonic Lumix stuff. That's the beauty of micro four thirds, is all the equipment has no weight because it's small. Peter Forsgaard also. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's quite a few of the Olympus ambassadors. I mean, I don't have any of it, but it's not because I don't like it. It's just because I just haven't done it, you know. I mean, a lot of point and shoot cameras are micro four thirds, especially today. Key said, I heard they were fixing to release new cameras. They probably are. Didn't they get bought by somebody not long ago? I want to say they got absorbed by somebody else, and they were going to like basically make the company profitable and try to get back in the game. That's what I was hearing. Somebody like some company in Tokyo bought the Olympus brand and all their manufacturing. I want to say that happened a year or two ago. Yeah, the OM1 and Lumix is releasing the GH6 in 10 days. Ooh, GH6, huh? OM1, they had that. I remember that now because they launched that big OM1 flagship. I want to say it was OM1 or was it OM something, but it was a serious flagship camera, and then like 2 months later they got sold, or they sold because of lack of sales, and it's like, you launched a flagship camera. So they haven't quit. But I like the idea because the cameras, everything about it is smaller. Since, you have a smaller, sensor, you make your lenses smaller and they get lighter because of that. And yeah, I mean, once you've carried around heavy glass for a while, it's nice. JIP purchased Olympus, same company that picked up Vio. Oh, okay. Sony Northrop has a new video about the new Olympus that is rumored. I haven't watched one of his videos in easily over a year. Put my coffee cup in the truck. I'm not littering. And my camera, that's fine. Camera's in the sun, so I just want to make sure it wasn't hot. It's not super hot. It's nice. It's actually nice. It was 52 when I parked the truck. I'm curious to know what it is now. But it's almost too warm for my jacket, which is good. Better late than never. Hi, Ken. How you doing? Yeah. I only have a little bit of time left on the stream. I've done gotten the battery warnings for the camera. So it's on its last, it'll be not too much longer. Check out The Ordinary Filmmaker on YouTube. He does general photography news. Okay, I'll do that. About the Yashica, I have bought a Yashica Electro 35 running Ultramax 400 film through it now. The lens is fantastic as well. The Electro 35. Mine had the whole pad of death issue, so yours apparently is in good shape. And all the pad of death does that they're talking about is it has to do with something with the way the camera releases the shutter and one other thing. And the pad of death doesn't release the other thing. And I don't remember what that second item is. Like if you press the shutter, it'll fire one but not the other. And if you press harder, you'll hear it release the other one. And that's because it's got a lever. And so that it doesn't like vibrate, they put a little felt pad between it and the next thing it pushes. And that little felt pad breaks down over time, or neoprene rubber or whatever it is. And that allows you to have that extra play, and you have to push the shutter even further to move that lever over to make contact. And there's a bunch of videos. I even did one on replacing that pad. It's got the nickname the pad of death. But if yours is working good, don't worry about it. Don't take your camera apart. Shoot with it. If it's easy to press the shutter and you're getting good exposures, shoot the camera. Because the cameras are nice. Yep, there's another low battery warning. But yeah, those Electro 35s are cool cameras. They really are. I just wish mine would have worked better. Mine had exposure problems. Even once I fixed the pad of death deal in it, it still had other exposure issues. don't know what that was about. But, I don't know. But, yeah, so that's why I'm not using mine. That's why I'm using this one. This one has good exposure, and it works. It works really well. I really didn't need to buy that one, to tell you the truth, because I've got a good working Minolta X700 at home. If you know of anybody that would shoot film, yeah, that was a cop car, but it was over at the intersection where the traffic light is. So it's, see, I think Trenton officially has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traffic lights now. 2 of which are at the interstate bridge. So that technically leaves 3 for the town. So, oh, there's a 6th one. It's over here by the high school now. They put one at the entrance to the high school right over there. So that the school kids can leave, or, you know, apparently it's a traffic bottleneck. Keith says, what's the best battery for them or solution? I bought Ulrich, you're using an Electro 35. I have a battery module that I still think I have it, that was made for that I bought from somebody, that has some, like, I don't know, it's like a little assembly with a battery in it that like converts one battery voltage to the right one for that camera. And if you want that, email me and I'll look and see if I can find it. And if I can find it, I'll mail it to you, because I'm not going to use it. But yeah, it's a special little battery module that someone made to kind of replace the original one. And I'm not going to ever use it. So if you're actually shooting with your Electro 35, just, like I said, go to my website and hit me up on email and send me your address, and I'll mail it to you. You can have it. Best battery. I'm assuming you're talking about the Electro 35. The batteries in this one, it takes, I don't even know if I can get the battery out of it. Is it off? Yeah. It comes off. This thing is kind of complicated to get the battery off of. I don't remember. Oh, it goes forward. No, that's, you move that forward. There's something going on at the square. I think I got it now. Yep, there we go. See, this pops off to reveal 2 of those guys. But yeah, there's where the battery compartment is. It's on the handle. Then you slide it on and lock it. Here we go. But yeah, this camera's water resistant. The lens isn't. So I really don't understand the whole point about making the camera water resistant, but they did. But is that the battery you're talking about? You're welcome, Ulrich. Velo Rider says, I like shooting my Contax S2 and Hasselblad film cameras. I started looking at Contax lenses because the Yashica mount shares a mount with Contax, and it keeps giving me a lot of Zeiss planar lenses in the hits. Just alien invasion, yeah. You can send that rod now. If you have like a 300 meter radius of error, that should put it right over there. He was talking about the Electro 35. That was late. So, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's got some kind of weird battery. And I want to say I modified, I put a different battery in it, and it worked. But the battery just runs the meter, if I remember right. All it runs is the light meter. Zenitar just released a 60mm macro for the Nikon F. Really? Jacob Jerk from the Netherlands. How you doing? Sir, now we got the Netherlands in. We got the Netherlands, the UK, Indonesia, Japan, the US, and particularly Alabama. Man, this is a global live stream. That's an airplane. That is not normal in Dade County because there is no airfield here. There's somebody with their little single engine Piper Cub or whatever, or a Cessna 150 or something like that. They're just flying around. It's kind of dangerous to be low altitude flying over here because the hang gliders are right over there. You better be watching out for them. He's heading right towards them. He's down in the valley in front of the mountain. Interesting. Maybe he's landing on the grass field over there at the hang gliders. That little plane don't need much runway. He's low enough. That's interesting. You don't normally see small engine aircraft here. It's just because there's no airport. There's one in Lafayette, so you'd see them over there pretty regular, but you just don't see them here. Keith's from Kentucky. Ah, okay. Alabama. I'd like to see that Zenitar lens just to play with it. You got me wondering what a Contax S2 looks like now as well. Now I'll be on eBay. The bane of my existence. All right, guys. I'm not going to have much time left because this keeps giving me the warning about the power, and I keep having to get rid of it off the screen. At any time now, the camera's going to just shut off if I don't power off the stream of my own choosing. But like I said, I forgot my power pack. Normally I bring that little power pack and plug it into the phone and it keeps it going, but it's been a lot of fun, guys. I've really enjoyed the stream today. I just wish that it would have worked from the house. I had these grand plans and it all fell apart when I couldn't get it to work. But, you know, you do what you can with what you got. So, with that, this is David, the Georgia photographer. And until next time, get your camera out, whatever kind it is, and go take a picture with it. Thank you, Hassan. You guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.